In the vast tapestry of human existence, there's a force so profound, so deeply rooted in our being, that it transcends time and space. It's the power of prayer. For millennia, across cultures and beliefs, humanity has turned to prayer in search of solace, guidance, and miracles. Throughout history, prayer has been a direct connection between man and God. A sacred conversation whispered into the silence, a heartfelt plea carried on the wings of faith. It's in these moments of communion, when we surrender our doubts and fears, that the extraordinary can unfold. Did you know that some of the greatest miracles in the Bible happen because of prayer? Stories of ordinary people who dared to believe in the impossible, who dared to call upon a power greater than themselves, and witness the awe-inspiring response. Today, we'll take you on a journey through these powerful moments of divine intervention. We'll delve into the scriptures, reliving the stories of those who dared to pray and the miracles that followed, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, hope can ignite a flame that burns brighter than any shadow. High atop Mount Carmel, a scene unfolds that will forever be etched in the annals of biblical history. A showdown between two opposing forces, a battle not of swords and shields, but of faith itself. On one side, Elijah, the lone prophet of the one true God. On the other, 450 prophets of Baal, the Canaanite deity worshipped by many Israelites. The stage is set, the tension palpable. King Ahab and the people of Israel gather, their hearts heavy with doubt and uncertainty. A drought has gripped the land, their faith shaken, their spirits parched for a sign, for proof of a God who hears their pleas. Elijah, a figure of unwavering conviction, issues a challenge, a contest to prove whose God is real, whose God holds the power to command the heavens. The rules are simple. Each side will build an altar, prepare a sacrifice, and then call upon their God to send fire from heaven to consume the offering. The prophets of Baal take their turn first. They dance and shout, their cries echoing through the valleys, their pleas growing increasingly desperate as the sun climbs higher in the sky. But silence greets their efforts, a deafening silence that speaks volumes. Baal, it seems, is nowhere to be found. The air crackles with anticipation as Elijah steps forward. He rebuilds the altar of the Lord, 12 stones representing the 12 tribes of Israel, a symbol of unity and a reminder of God's covenant with his people. He prepares the sacrifice, a bullock, and then, in a moment of profound symbolism, he has the altar drenched with water, not once, not twice, but 3 times, until the trench around it overflows. With unwavering faith, Elijah raises his hands towards heaven and utters a simple yet powerful prayer. He doesn't shout, he doesn't plead, he simply speaks to God as one would a trusted friend. O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel. Answer me, O Lord, that this people may know that you, O Lord, are God. In that instant the heavens open, not with rain to quench the parched earth, but with a force far more awe-inspiring. Fire, a raging inferno, descends from the sky, engulfing the altar, consuming the sacrifice, licking at the very stones, vaporizing the water in a display of raw, undeniable power. The people witnessing this spectacle fall to their knees, their faces pressed against the ground in awe and reverence. The message is clear, the answer undeniable. The Lord, He is God, they cry out, their voices echoing Elijah's proclamation. The miracle on Mount Carmel serves as a timeless testament to the power of prayer. A power not rooted in elaborate rituals or empty pronouncements, but in aligning ourselves with the will of God. Elijah's prayer wasn't born of desperation, but of unwavering faith, a deep understanding of who God is, and a willingness to surrender to His divine plan. This story reminds us that prayer is not a magic formula, a guaranteed recipe for instant gratification. It's a conversation, a communion with the divine, an opportunity to surrender our will to a power far greater than ourselves. And when we approach prayer with a heart of humility, when our desires align with God's purpose, when we seek His glory above our own, that's when miracles unfold. That's when mountains move, fires fall, and the impossible becomes possible. The story of Elijah on Mount Carmel is a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, when we stand firm in our faith, when we dare to believe, and when we surrender to the will of God, anything is possible. The weight of a kingdom rested heavily on the shoulders of King Hezekiah. A righteous and devout ruler, he had led Judah with wisdom and courage, but now he found himself facing his greatest challenge yet, a battle not fought on the battlefield but within the confines of his own body. The prophet Isaiah, a messenger of God, arrived at the king's bedside, his face etched with a solemnity that spoke volumes. The words he carried were not those of comfort, not words of hope, but a stark and unsettling pronouncement. Set your house in order, for you shall die. Hezekiah, a man of deep faith, could have easily succumbed to despair, could have resigned himself to the grim prognosis. He could have spent his remaining days lamenting his fate, but Hezekiah chose a different path, a path paved with the unwavering belief that even in the face of death, God's power could prevail. He turned his face to the wall, a physical manifestation of his inward focus, a turning away from the distractions of the world and a turning towards the one source of true hope. Tears streamed down his face, not tears of self-pity but tears of heartfelt supplication, tears that carried the weight of his plea to the heavens. "Remember, O Lord, how I have walked before you in faithfulness and with a whole heart," cried Hezekiah, his voice thick with emotion. He didn't bargain with God, didn't demand a miracle, he simply laid bare his heart, reminding God of his unwavering devotion, his commitment to living a righteous life. His words echoed through the chambers of his heart, a testament to a life lived in service to God. He had striven to lead his people with justice and compassion, had sought to honor God in all he did. And now, facing his own mortality, he clung to the hope that God would remember his faithfulness. Before Isaiah had even left the palace grounds, the answer arrived, a resounding affirmation of God's boundless love and mercy. "I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears," God declared, his words carrying the weight of eternity. "Behold, I will add 15 years to your life." But God's mercy didn't end there. To solidify his promise, to provide tangible proof of his power over life and death, God offered an extraordinary sign. The shadow on the sundial, a symbol of time's relentless march forward, would move backward 10 degrees, a visual representation of the 15 years added to Hezekiah's life. The story of Hezekiah's miraculous healing is a powerful reminder that prayer can change even the most hopeless situations. It highlights the depth of God's love and His willingness to intervene in our lives when we call upon Him with sincere hearts. Hezekiah's prayer wasn't a last-ditch effort, a desperate plea from a man clinging to life. It was a testament to his unwavering faith, his belief that even in the face of death, God's power could prevail. This story teaches us that prayer is not about dictating terms to God, but about surrendering our will to His. It's about acknowledging our limitations and embracing the boundless possibilities that exist when we place our trust in a power greater than ourselves. Hezekiah's 15 extra years weren't just a gift of time, they were a testament to the power of faith, a reminder that even when all hope seems lost, a single prayer can change everything. The ancient kingdom of Babylon was a place of power, opulence, and danger. It was a melting pot of cultures and beliefs, where the line between loyalty and treachery could be razor thin. In this tumultuous world, a man named Daniel, a devout follower of the one true God, found himself facing an impossible choice. Daniel was known for his wisdom and integrity, qualities that earned him a prominent position in the king's court. But his unwavering faith in God would soon be put to the ultimate test. King Darius, influenced by jealous advisors, issued a decree that for 30 days no one could pray to any god or man except the king himself. The penalty for disobedience was swift and brutal, to be thrown into a den of hungry lions. Daniel, fully aware of the decree and its consequences, refused to compromise his faith. He continued to pray openly and fervently to his God, 3 times a day, just as he always had. His enemies, eager to see his downfall, wasted no time in reporting his defiance to the king. Darius, though fond of Daniel, was bound by the law he himself had enacted. With a heavy heart, he ordered Daniel to be seized and cast into the lion's den. As the stone was rolled across the entrance of the den, sealing Daniel's fate, a palpable sense of dread filled the air. The king, deeply troubled, couldn't eat or sleep that night. He paced his palace, the image of Daniel's calm courage seared into his mind. The lions, their roars echoing through the night, were known for their ferocity. No one thrown into their midst had ever emerged alive. Yet, within the depths of that dark den, Daniel remained steadfast. He knelt on the cold stone floor, his heart lifted in prayer, his faith an unbreakable shield against the terror that surrounded him. As the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, King Darius rushed back to the den. His heart pounded in his chest, a mixture of hope and despair warring within him. With trembling hands he ordered the stone to be rolled away. "Daniel, servant of the living God," he called out, his voice heavy with anxiety, "has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" From the depths of the den, a voice rang out, strong and clear. "O King, live forever! My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight." The king was astonished. Overjoyed and humbled, he ordered Daniel to be lifted from the den. As Daniel emerged, unharmed, the reality of the miracle sank in. The lions, who had roared with such ferocity the night before, now lay peacefully, as if tamed by an unseen hand. News of Daniel's miraculous deliverance spread like wildfire throughout the kingdom. King Darius, deeply moved by the power of Daniel's God, issued a new decree, acknowledging the God of Daniel as the living God, whose kingdom would never be destroyed, whose dominion would never end. In the tapestry of life, the desire for a child is woven deep within the human heart, but for some, that longing remains unfulfilled, a source of constant ache and yearning. Such was the plight of Hannah, a woman of unwavering faith, yet burdened by the pain of barrenness. Year after year, she watched as others in her community celebrated the joys of parenthood, their homes filled with the laughter of children. And year after year, her own womb remained empty, a cruel reminder of her unfulfilled longing. The scriptures tell us that Hannah's grief was profound, her spirit crushed under the weight of her infertility. The inability to conceive carried a heavy social stigma in those days, often seen as a sign of divine disfavor. But even in the depths of her despair, Hannah clung to her faith. She knew that God saw her pain, heard her silent cries, and understood the deepest desires of her heart. Driven by her desperate longing, Hannah sought solace in the only place she knew could offer true comfort, the temple of the Lord. It was there, in the sacred silence, that she poured out her heart to God, her voice choked with tears. She didn't ask for riches, for status, or for an easier life. All she desired, all she pleaded for, was a child to love, a child to cherish, a child to carry on her lineage and honor the Lord. Her prayer was not a demand, but a heartfelt plea, a covenant made with the Almighty. She vowed that if God would only bless her with a son, she would dedicate him back to his service, a life set apart for sacred purpose. Little did Hannah know that her desperate plea would not only change her life but echo through generations, her story becoming a testament to the unwavering faithfulness of God. Now, Eli, the priest, observed Hannah's fervent prayers, her lips moving silently, her body racked with sobs. He mistook her intense devotion for drunkenness, a misjudgment that revealed the depth of her anguish. But Hannah, with quiet dignity, explained her plight, assuring Eli that her heart was pure, her intentions sincere. And Eli, moved by her faith, offered a blessing, a declaration that God had heard her prayer. And so it was, in God's perfect timing, that Hannah's prayers were answered. She conceived and gave birth to a son, a testament to the power of faith and the boundless love of the Almighty. She named him Samuel, meaning God has heard, a constant reminder that even in the darkest of times, even when hope seems lost, God hears the cries of his children and answers in ways we could never imagine. The early followers of Jesus faced constant persecution. Their belief in a crucified carpenter as the Son of God was seen as a threat, a dangerous heresy by those in power. And among those who faced the wrath of the authorities was Peter, a fisherman-turned-disciple, a man who had walked with Jesus and witnessed his miracles firsthand. King Herod, seeking to appease his constituents and quell the burgeoning Christian movement, had Peter arrested and thrown into prison. It was a desperate situation, the threat of execution looming large. The iron bars of the prison cell seemed impenetrable, the heavy chains a symbol of hopelessness. Yet even in this dire circumstance, the early Christians clung to their faith, drawing strength from their belief in a God who could move mountains and shatter chains. For they knew that the power of prayer transcended physical barriers, that their collective pleas had the power to reach the heavens and stir the heart of God. Word spread like wildfire through the community of believers. Peter, their rock, their leader, was imprisoned, his life hanging in the balance. Fear could have paralyzed them, could have driven them into hiding, but instead, it ignited a firestorm of prayer. In homes across the city, believers gathered, their voices uniting in fervent supplication. They prayed for Peter's safety, for his miraculous release, for God's power to be made manifest even in the darkest of places. Their prayers were not just words uttered into the void, but a lifeline of faith, a desperate plea for divine intervention. They understood that with God all things are possible, that even the most dire circumstances could be overturned by His mighty hand. And so they prayed, their voices echoing through the night, a testament to the unwavering faith that bound them together as followers of the risen Christ. As Peter slept, his heart heavy with the weight of his impending fate, a light brighter than the noonday sun illuminated the prison cell. An angel, a messenger from God, stood before him, his presence radiating power and authority. "Get up quickly," the angel commanded, his words shattering the silence of the prison. And as Peter obeyed, the chains that bound him simply fell away, as if released by an unseen hand. Guided by the angel, Peter walked through the prison, passing bewildered guards who seemed oblivious to their presence. The iron gates swung open before them, granting them unimpeded passage into the night. It was a moment of pure astonishment, a testament to the miraculous power of God. Peter, who had been moments away from certain death, was now free, delivered by the very hand of God, in answer to the fervent prayers of his brothers and sisters in Christ. From the fire that consumed Elijah's altar to the chains that fell away from Peter's wrists, these stories from the pages of Scripture offer a glimpse into the awe-inspiring power of prayer. They remind us that prayer is not merely a religious ritual, but a lifeline to the divine, a direct connection to the Creator of the universe. Whether whispered in solitude or declared in the company of fellow believers, our prayers hold immense power. They have the ability to move mountains, to heal the sick, to comfort the grieving, and to bring hope to the hopeless. These stories challenge us to deepen our own prayer lives, to approach the throne of grace with confidence, knowing that our prayers are heard, our needs are known, and our God is faithful. So, as you reflect on these incredible miracles, I leave you with this question: which of these stories resonated with you the most, and how will you allow it to inspire your own journey of faith? If this video encouraged you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Bible-based content. See you in the next one.